Hello, friends. I'm about to be annoying, so prepare yourselves. I have literally made probably like 5 or 6 vlogs in the past few weeks, none of which that are being posted. And I wanted to give you guys a bunch of information. No one gives a shit. However, I will be making this because I don't know. But I'm basically going to be remaking the last few vlogs, but, specifically the last vlog. So essentially, oh, by the way, also, welcome to Citizen Pub YouTube, where we discuss my experiences with autism, mental illness, mental health, chronic illness, disability, becoming a baby bodybuilder. So the vlog today is going to be like a bestie FaceTime little life update of like all the that's been happening in the past while, because I've made so many vlogs and literally all of them, I don't know, like the last one specifically was a really hard one to make, and I kind of wanted to remake it today, but in a better frame of mind because I was so upset. And the vlog is me just like being upset. So, a few things. One, I've known this for years, okay? And I need to switch up my content. I don't know how that's going to look for me. The reason why, it really hit me the other day. So, as you guys might have seen or might have heard in the last vlog, I did a collab with someone, and we're going to talk about that too. I made a whole vlog about, how my relationship with her has evolved, and like, it's probably not going to continue because I don't know how to have normal relationships. We're going to just get into it. Again, I doubt anyone's going to watch this. I doubt anyone gives a shit. However, I'm just going to make it. We're going to yap. This is just me giving you an update. So, essentially, Melody came to collab with me, right? We started talking, I think like 2 months ago, and within a month, she came here and she stayed for 6 days. Our whole plan was minimum 48 hours, maximum 6 days. And getting to know her, and just for reference, she uses she, them pronouns. I'm using she because she requested on social media to be referred to as she, and this is social media. But I don't even believe in God, and it was genuinely like God had gifted me this person. And it was like every time I FaceTimed with her, I genuinely felt like it was like a gift I was receiving from the universe. And I'm getting emotional. And we became really close really fast. It began with FaceTimes of us. I'm already getting exhausted talking about it. It began with FaceTimes of us like talking about, work and stuff like that, and then it got personal, and literally right before she came, I met with my therapist and I was like, am I in love with her? And I realized I was just more like autistic, what's it called? Autistic limerence. And I do this frequently when I have a new friend where I'm just like obsessed and in love and worried about them, and it's just like so much. And she came here, and the collab, like the first collab we did, was not good at all. Like it was so bad, and we were really both worried. But like she films in a very different way than I do. She has multiple cameras, multiple angles. Like it takes a long time for her to set up. And we both really accommodated each other a lot during this trip. I think the biggest accommodation that she made for me was like, one, price matching, and two, traveling here. And I felt like I made a lot of accommodations within, the content, because she's very particular about, angles and different stuff. And like, it was really challenging. And, it was a work trip. She came here, was here for 6 days. We did collabs every single day. And like the downtime was just like her and I talking, but we had to also be silent a lot of the time. And I think a lot of us, like, I think we both really underestimated how much energy it was taking from us. And when I first meet a friend, especially someone like Melody, that I genuinely fell in love with her so fast. Friendship love, though. And it was like, I was constantly worried about how her day was going, how she was sleeping, how, how her work stuff was going. And it was so much. And something happened between us a few days ago. And she basically spoke to me in a really rude way. And something came up for me in that, which I'll be discussing with my therapist tomorrow. And I think I've allowed myself in so many friendships to be treated like and this wasn't that, you know, but to be spoken to in a way that was just like really disrespectful, that in my brain I was like, okay, well, you know, there are lots of challenges when we work together. We don't really have a lot of chemistry in that way. And for me, the friendship was so draining. But let me be very, 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 very clear. It was draining because of my actions. It wasn't her that was draining me. It was me that was draining me, because I genuinely don't know how to have a normal relationship. Like, I have 3 friends, right? All of them I've met in college. And those 3 friends, one of them, her and I text maybe once every couple months. I see her maybe 4 to 5 times a year. The other one, again, text maybe a few times a year. I'm lucky if I see her twice a year, maybe it's once a year. The other one, you know, we FaceTime probably a few times a year, text not very often, and I see him maybe once every few years. Those are my friendships. None of them are texters. So I went from texting no one and just focusing on work and whatever I needed to focus on, finding happiness, medication, all that, and to texting someone constantly, FaceTiming for hours every single day, having her come here, work. And I didn't realize, like, I was so drained. And right before that happened, I felt like I was going to burn out. Like, I could feel the autistic burnout coming, because I'm making the worst money that I've ever made. I don't have enough to live. I don't have enough to survive. I don't have enough to pay off debt. And I just was tired of making content, like so tired. And the whole goal with content for me has always been 2 things. It's been 1, I want to make people that are like me feel less alone with my content. And 2, to be able to afford, you know, to buy a house for my mom and I. And like, my, like, you know, versions of that have shifted, and really, like, I want to be able to have enough to retire that I can afford to pay for 30 years for a live-in nurse for my mom and I. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. And for me, I you know, I can't even fathom the worst case scenario, but for me in my brain, it's becoming more disabled, right? Needing to move somewhere that's more accessible, you know, having like more cost for medication, because my medication out of pocket is like $1,500 a month. I'm also being audited right now, which is super fun for medical, because they're like, there's no way that you've spent $16,400 on medical. And I'm like, in fact, yes. So all this stuff has happened. And before this, I've been trying to figure out for the past half year how to balance being like the work that actually makes me money. Okay. So like, you know, the site, the blue and white site, social media, okay, and vlogs. And I know that vlogs is part of social media, but I'm having a hard time. You know, in February, I really did a little better than what I have been doing for a while on, you know, the site where this is made. And then, you know, in March, I did a really good job with social media. And then things really shifted for me right after my birthday. I started reversing. I had issues with eating. I had issues with spending. And I, you know, went into therapy for the first time in a long time, and I really overcame those things. And it's like, sorry, I'm biting my lip. In the past month, I've gone off the rails. I have been self-sabotaging with spending, okay, because I'm scared, because I'm not making any money. I had to tell my mom that I could no longer give her money. I was cutting back on therapy, cutting back on massages. And I know that in your brain, if you're watching this, you're like, massages, that's just a fun extra. Brother, I'm chronically ill and disabled. I have chronic pain. I'm in pain every single day. So like for me, massages are very necessary. Like it's part of pain management for me, if you will, because I can't take, you know, the heavy stuff because I am sober. And I went through a period in, you know, April and May where I was the best I've ever been in my entire life. And there were a few contributing factors to it, which I've talked about on here before, which was one, it sounds stupid, but scrapbooking, okay? And two, getting my lawn reseeded. You're wondering why, and I'll tell you. So as somebody who's been chronically ill and disabled my whole life, like unknowingly for so long, I have spent the majority of my life in bed, okay? Even when I was working, when I'd get home, right to bed. Like, I'm not talking sleeping the whole time, although I did sleep a lot, but you know, I've been trying for so long. I think in the month of April or March, I think I switched meds 4 or 5 times. And I finally found something that works for me. And then right before Melody came, I increased my ADHD meds and I felt like it was making me tired. And then I was like, maybe I need to increase it again. I increased it for one day, then I went all the way back down. And I've just been eating, overspending, like just doing all this and I'm not able to be present because I'm constantly worried about her. Like and again, like my life changed because of scrapbooking and the lawn. And the reason why is because I've spent my whole life in bed, right? And at this point where, you know, yes, I'm still in pain, but the medication is starting to work. You know, I'm starting to manage things. I'm not the pain is not gone, you know, but mentally I feel better and I'm learning how to manage things better. And because I got my lawn reseeded, because the property is like, I would have to move the sprinkler every day. It was like for a month and a half because we had to do one side and then one side, but the property is like, you know, to me, objectively large enough that I had to move the sprinkler 20 times every day because you have to do it in the morning and then at night. And it was 10 times each time because that has to go for 20 minutes so that the fucking grass grows, whatever. So doing that was forcing me to get up and walk. Now, 2 very important things. 1, I have the ability to recognize, right? And I'm not saying to you, if you're chronically ill and you're watching this, oh, the key is just to walk more. The key is to exercise more. The key is to move more. The key is to get out of bed. No, some people don't have the ability to do that. I'm at a stage where right now, in this present moment, I'm lucky, right? Yes, I'm like partially dislocating my jaw and parts of my body while I'm sleeping or when I'm standing or when I'm at the gym. Like, it's never when I'm exercising, but it's just when I'm doing normal shit. And I'm still in pain all the time, but I've been walking more. It's forced me to walk more, to walk my dogs more. And all of those little changes, like the scrapbooking was a big change because it forced me to get out of bed, come downstairs, and do a project that made me feel joy, right? And with doing scrapbooking too, it was like kind of like me romanticizing my life. You know, I'm like putting pictures of the past few weeks, things that I wouldn't think are that big of a deal, but they are. And I haven't scrapbooked in a month, in a whole month. And I was doing it literally in April every day. But I don't have enough time to do it every single day, but whatever. I'm just saying. And I realized that after Melody had said, you know, that to me that was like something to me that was so rude, in a state of dysregulation, yes, you know, autistic, yes, the first text, again, I'm not going to say what it said, but could have come back from that. But then I realized that it was like, again, not her fault, but I was taking all my energy and giving it to another person, right? Who also didn't need it. And one, and two, who also like that relationship for her, I'm sure was also so much. Like it was too much. It was like 2 people just like trauma bonding. And, you know, I was constantly telling her, you're my favorite person. And it was like my problem. And it is my problem is that I don't know how to have a normal relationship when I'm falling in love with someone. And I just truly fell in love with her. Not me trying to like adjust my nose ring. It looks like I'm picking my nose. I swear to God, I'm not. I do pick my nose, however. Hey, sometimes I take tweezers, in fact, and there's this one area in this nostril where snot gathers and it hardens, and then I take it out with the tweezer and then I roll it in my hand and then I throw it at the wall. I'm just being honest. If you don't pick your nose, I don't know what to tell you. But the thing is it's much harder to pick your nails. To pick your nose with these nails. Also, these are the nails. I hated them. When I did them, it took me find my face. Yes. It took me like over 5 hours. But I had a routine, and the routine was gone when she was here. Again, not her fault at all. Like, she gave me time to have the routine, And I just, sometimes when I like feel that I'm off work, I'm like, okay, well, I just want to remove like steps. And the steps for me are like, every morning we do the same thing. Wake up, feed the dogs, let the dogs out, come inside, start the kettle, put the tea into the water, take dog one out, Petunia, for a walk, then take the other two dogs out for a walk separately, then come upstairs, take a shower. Sorry. Come downstairs, gratitude journal, intentions for the day, the to-do list, write it down, then take the meds, then creatine, vitamins, then go outside, have a tea with the protein bar, come inside, read, and then get the day started, start work. And I have had no energy, nothing to do anything. Another thing too that I realized is like when, let me be clear. I've known this for a long time. Everybody knows it. It's very obvious. There's a reason, why people who do what I do are not talking about, for the most part, their content is not centered around disability, around mental illness, around, like mobility issues, chronic illness, because no one wants to someone who's talking about that. The people who are subscribing to me, not here, but over there, and they don't want that, right? And I have needed and known that I've needed to shift my content for a long time, for 2 years. And it hasn't been dire enough for me to do that. But like I was getting comments the other day, and I'm going to be super honest with you. I 100% understand that. However, I'm going to just give you some sort of like insight into what happened and what made the shift for me. So if you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you'll notice that I caption almost all my videos for accessibility purposes. Now, you don't know this, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but the same rules don't apply to larger creators versus people who aren't creators, or larger creators versus smaller creators, but most importantly, large creators who do what I do for work versus other large creators who don't do what I do for work, right? And people don't understand the intricacies of this. So for example, I'll give a perfect example. Someone had commented something and said, whatever they said, I don't remember. And my response was, I'm autistic. It wasn't anything bad. I got in trouble because I said that, right? And usually when I comment I'm autistic, I switch out the I with an exclamation mark. There's a reason for it. Because if my account gets in trouble, then guess what? I can't make content. I can't help people. It can't be seen, right? One time, the weird thing, especially now, because the way that things work, and I can't say too much because again, I'll get in trouble. But the way things are working right now is that employees are being fired, okay? AI is in charge of everything. There is a bug in like specific apps and specific systems, and everyone is at risk, specifically also people who do what I do for work. So you have three things, right? You either get no captions, okay? No captions at all, right? And titles with, exclamation marks where the eyes are, or, an emoji covering a specific word. Because in my brain, like in your brain, when you're watching things, when you see like me doing that and specific words changed or altered or covered, you're like, well, why? Why would that? And it's because of lived experience where accounts get in trouble, where people I know that are also creators, like there's a reason for everything, right? Even if you don't see it, even if you don't understand it, there's a reason. And it was like, I'm spending an extra 10 hours every single week putting captions on long videos where I have to alter every single thing that I'm saying. I not only have to alter how I speak, but I also have to alter the captions, right? Which means that they're less accessible. They cannot be read by screen readers. And it's like, you have to choose between two things, or between three things, again, where it's just a title, there's no captions, or nothing at all. Or you get like captions that are inaccessible, that can't be read by a screen reader, or I don't have an account and you can't consume my content. And I had a video where people were commenting and they were like, I had to unfollow her because the captions are inaccessible. And again, you have to be careful, right? Because it was Sorry, I'm getting emotional and I need to take a second and I'm going to pause while still also trying to remember what I'm talking about. Also, during this time, I've forgotten everything I've learned about in therapy. That's not good. That's how I know. Anyway, and you can't even talk about it, about why you're doing the things that you're doing without getting in trouble. If I'm in trouble, I can't help people. I also can't make money. So essentially, there was a string of comments of people being like, yeah, you know, I used to really like her content, but, you know, everything's so inaccessible and the captions suck, and she's like covering words with emojis, and it's just like, and I get it. I 100% get it. And I was saying to them, I'm like, okay, so as a person who is disabled, me, right? As a disabled creator who talks about disability and accessibility, why do you think that I would spend an extra 10 hours a week creating my captions to be like this? Why do you think that would be? Because I can't say it or else trouble, right? And people were just not getting it. And they were like, oh, I know it's just about likes. It's just about pleasing the algorithm. No, it has nothing to do that. I don't give a shit about likes, about views. It doesn't matter to me, especially for those videos, because they don't ever bring me income. It's just to help people feel less alone and talk about my experiences, right? And they're not understanding. And I'm like, think about it. Because sometimes I'll have lovely people who are, you know, diehards for me that are just amazing. And they'll be like, this company, they're the ones who are in charge. That's why this is happening. But I'm like sitting there and I'm so upset because for 3 years, I've been making content, mental health, disability, accessibility, chronic illness. And I'm doing content to try to make other people like me feel seen, you know? And here I am in all the comment sections of all my videos. I get so many people being like, this isn't accessible. And I know I want to make it accessible. I want to make the captions say exactly what they say. I don't want to use words that are, you know, I'm not allowed to use, or I want to use words that I'm not allowed to use. I want to talk about all the things that I want to talk about. I want to make so much anti-racism content. And it's like, I can't. And there has to be this balance as a content creator where it's like, there's content that makes you money, right? There's content that you like to make that doesn't get seen. There's content that you want to make, but you can't. And it's like a balance of all of these things. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm trying so hard to make content to help people feel seen. And it's just not enough. And on top of that, it's not making me any money at all. Like, I used to be able to have money to support my mom. I used to be able to have savings. I don't have that. And my medication costs are so expensive. And I'm like, charity begins at home. I want to do big things. I'm not sure how that's going to come together, but I really, 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 really want to help people. And it's made me realize that I need to switch up my content. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to look. I think I'm going to do it on different, not on here, like on here it'll just be posted, but on other accounts. I think I'm going to make it on alt accounts. I'm not really sure how I'm going to integrate it, but I've known this for so long, and it's like I've never done skits. You know, I hate doing thirst traps. I hate putting on makeup. Like, I like putting on makeup, but in the context of like, I don't like to get up and put makeup on. Like, you know, if you see my Instagram, sometimes I look pretty, sometimes I don't. Like, most of the time I'm wearing pajamas and like stained because I don't care. But it's come to the point where I'm not making money and I can't help other people. I can't create the content I want to create if I don't have enough for medication. So, you know, I made a video a few days ago where I was like so upset and so drained, and I just wanted there to be like record of me being like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be posting more thirst traps. I'm sorry, I'm going to be making content that like, you know, I wouldn't normally make. And it's not because of fame. It's not because of notoriety. It's not because of, you know, I want attention. I want to get seen. It's just because I had to tell my mom I couldn't give her money anymore. And because I need to be able to afford to survive. We all have to do things that we don't want to do in order to move forward. And I've known that for a long time. And it's very true in so many capacities and so many different like realms of the way that we live our lives. Like, capitalism is but it's upsetting to me because I always feel like I've shown up very authentically online, and I feel like doing skits and the ideas that I have, like I feel like it's not as authentic, and I'm trying to figure out how to bridge the two so that I'm able to remain authentic, but part of me feels like now I need to be playing a character, and I'm just confused. I don't have a blueprint for this in the way that I've built a blueprint for the past several years, but things have to change, right? If you're doing the same thing, I've been constantly trying to, adjust things as I go when it comes to content creation, when it comes to my job. Like, I'm trying new things all the time, but I'm realizing that, like, it's not working. And despite the fact that I have dismantled this thing in my head recently, like, the reason why, like, I have not thought for the past year and a half. When I first started content creation, in my brain, before I got any type of following, I had a feeling, I knew it. And I've always known it to my core that I'm going to be able to succeed. I'm going to be wealthy. And I don't just mean in the aspects of like financially wealthy. And I've worked so hard for so long and been sober for so long. And I've tried and tried and tried. And I knew I had it in me. And then as soon as I hit what I thought was my peak, everything's gone downhill from there. And I thought, too, like in April 2025 to June, like I had the worst chronic illness flare-up I've ever had. I could barely walk. I was looking at wheelchairs. I had to move in with my mom. I couldn't lift anything that was more than like 5. And when I didn't know for the majority of my life that I've been physically disabled, because I've been told all the things that I've experienced are not like, they've just been written off. I've been medically gaslit. And it's just, when you get to a point, where it's combined mental illness, disability with chronic illness, where you're experiencing physical disability, it's different. It's different, and it makes you feel different, and it makes you feel unattractive. And I think that, and I know you need, this is not, and I need to be careful with how I'm wording this, because this is not my belief system, okay? I don't think that people who are disabled are inherently unattractive. That's not at all what I think. The problem is I have become a product, right? This is a product that people consume so that I can afford to pay my bills. And the harsh reality of it is that I want to make people feel less alone by talking about my disability, chronic illness, mental health, trying to be inspirational, trying to be relatable. That's not getting me paid, because the reality of it is people don't want somebody who's talking, who's in videos with her cane, who's talking about using a cane, who talks about being in pain, who talks about how they're having, autistic meltdowns and they're crying because they're trying to, and again, I don't really post a lot of that content anymore. Sometimes I do just to make people feel seen, but it always results in not good things for me. But if one person feels better, then it's good for me, like intrinsically. And despite the fact that I've been trying to educate people, trying to make people feel seen, trying to help people understand what disability is, because a lot of people don't really understand it, like that mission right now is not helping me with my own disabilities, because I can't afford medication. I can't afford to pay off debts. And it's like, I need to help myself. Charity begins at home. I can't give out of a vessel that is completely empty. So I need to switch things up, and I need to do things differently. And I'm upset because I've tried to find a way to balance all three things, vlogs, the type of work that I do, and social media. And for me to excel at those three things, the only way I'd be able to do it is if there were more hours in a day, which means I would sacrifice sleep, which means I wouldn't be able to function. And I need to scrapbook, I need to read, I need to do things that fill my cup, and there aren't enough hours in a day to even just do the things I need to do. And I'm concerned because I'm trying to find new systems and trying to find new ways to get things done. And so far, I haven't been able to figure it out, but I want to, and I will, because I really do want to help people, and I really want to be able to afford to live. It's just hard because I don't know the feeling that I get, the intrinsic value I get from creating content that has been told to me has helped people. It's like the only thing that at the time feeds my soul when I'm working 10 hours a day every single day, 70-hour weeks. because so much goes on behind the scenes that people don't realize, and it's so much more work than you think. And I'm comparing myself to all of these people who have management teams, who have, assistants, and I'm just me. I'm just working alone. I mean, my mom's kind of my assistant, but she'll get stuff from Costco for me. I don't know. She'll help me come to appointments, and I'm so drained and I am so burnt out. A lot of people in my industry are experiencing this right now because things have changed on platforms, but I really want to find a way through. And I, had a call with an internet friend of mine, and they, on the sites where I am, hit 0.01%. That's equivalent of almost $400,000 in 1 month. I have never even come anywhere close to that. And I don't, at this point, I don't even make remotely close enough to live, and I'm in debt. So if you see me making thirst traps and making content that you feel like isn't really me, I'm just trying to survive so that I can have enough to keep my head above water, so that I have the energy and the medication to survive, so that I can in the future help people. But it's just upsetting. I've avoided this for so long, and it's just not possible anymore. I've known I needed to do this for so long, but being hot is not my natural state. I love makeup, I like putting on cute little outfits, but it drains me so much, and it's not really something that I'm passionate about. But what I'm passionate about is not helping me survive. So anyway, that's kind of what's been happening, but I'm trying to find my way. I just saw monarch butterfly. Someone told me that they're good luck. I'm trying to find my way back to myself, and a big part of that I feel like really helped me in April and May is that I felt, you're going to say that I sound stupid for this, but I don't care. I felt a lot more connected to the earth. And what I mean by that is I was able to build tools to be more present. And when I'm more present, I experience more gratitude. I sit on my couch and I feel the material, and I think I bought this for myself, and it's where I'm comfy and I'm safe, and I, take the dogs out for walks, and I see the green in the grass, and I see the green in leaves, and I notice things, and I take them in, and I can feel just gratitude and beauty around me everywhere. And I can't feel that when I'm struggling to survive financially, can't afford basic things, like medication. And when I'm experiencing a level of autistic limerence where I'm just so in love with someone that my whole life just becomes about them. I need to reiterate again, this is not her fault. This is because, and it's something that I need to explore and learn how to heal, but I don't have the time to heal it right now. I don't have time to have a relationship like that and heal it by being challenged, by being in a relationship. I just don't have time because I need to make money to afford. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to find myself again, get back to that place where I was really happy, but find ways and new systems to be productive, to work, to succeed. And then hopefully, if I'm finding systems that work for me, maybe I'll have the ability to have more downtime. All I know is today was supposed to actually just be a day dedicated to joy, and that's not what has happened so far because I have to work. And I feel like unless I'm posting 60 videos a day, then I'm not working. And the problem too is that I want to keep creating that content that helps people, but I know how to make an account grow. And it's posting 10 to 12 videos a day just on that one account. But when you have 10 to 12 accounts, that's posting over 100 times a day. It doesn't leave a lot of time to make the content that helps people. It doesn't leave a lot of time for anything, especially when you have to be hot. I don't like showing up hot online. So I'm trying to find new ways to make things work and to develop friendships that I'm not giving all of myself to. But it's just challenging. Autistic limerence is such a the way that I have become, obsessed with this person's safety, well-being, their future is it's just not healthy. It's not their fault. It's their fault for being that lovely, but I also just don't, when someone shows you kind of who they are or what they believe their role is within your relationship, it's early on, or maybe it's not early on, but in this case it was early on. To me, if I'm being spoken to in a way that, and again, like this is where intent over impact is very important, because the impact that it had on me was so negative and it did trigger something inside of me, which I do, again, need to explore in therapy tomorrow. But if someone is doing that at the beginning of the relationship, when they should feel the most uncomfortable, it just tells me that that might be something that I'll see more down the line of. And I don't have the time and energy for meanness and hostility. And again, she's an amazing person. I'm in love with her. I love the out of her, but I don't know how to love normally. And I can't heal that right now. I need to focus on myself. I need to focus on work. And right now I'm in survival mode. I need to focus on making enough money to survive, to be able to afford medication and food and shelter. So anyway, I think I'm going to end it here. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight because I've recorded so many vlogs, and all of them I hate showing up online, specifically in a long form format where I'm just drained and tired and it's horrible. And I think at the end of this, I kind of start feeling like that. So I think it's my time to let it go. But I just wanted to, assure people that even if my content has changed, my intentions haven't changed. I still want to create content for younger me that would have helped younger me. Create content that allows people to feel seen, that helps people, truly helps people that are like me. But I don't have the time to do that right now. Because if I just continued on this path of making that content, right when I'm at burnout too, and then I can't afford medication, I can't afford shelter, guess who can't create content ever again? Guess who can't help people on a larger scale, which is what I really want to do, me. So my voice is starting to hurt from talking too much. And yeah, that's it. I think I'm going through like a mourning process because of losing this person. And I felt like I've been waiting for them my whole life. I think I'm also going through a really big shift. And I knew that this would have to happen eventually. I also have been avoiding it for so long, but now I need to kind of step into it. And the thing is I don't think a lot of people are going to like it, but it's not, I'm trying to help people. It's about the big picture. And right now I'm in survival mode. So we have to do what we can in survival mode. And I'm hoping that a year from now, things look different for me, but we'll see. So anyway, that's it. That's my little update. I don't even know if this is going to get posted. It's long. It's going to take forever to edit. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to kind of tell you guys what was happening and why. I feel like a shift in content for people who have been following you for so long for a specific thing is really jarring. And I also feel like a lot of people follow me for one thing, but there are lots of things that they feel like are so conflicting within niches, right? Like if you're following me and you see like a thirst trap and you're like, oh yay, a bop, but then you see me, talking about chronic illness and being sad and autism and disability, you think that it's conflicting, right? In the same way that if you follow me for chronic illness and then I'm at the gym, you think those are conflicting things. But really, they're all very interconnected in the concept that a lot of people in industry are disabled. We all, a lot of people have mental health problems. A lot of people are neurodivergent, and fall under that umbrella in a lot of varying ways. A lot of us have mental illnesses. A lot of us are disabled, and when it comes to chronic illness and managing it, a lot of doctors, say that physical activity, specifically for hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, I need to build muscles so that my joints, which, have defective it's all interconnected in ways that people don't mostly understand. So I'll have people follow me for one thing and then unfollow me because they're like, why are you posting this? And I just want people to know that, and for the people that have seen this and stayed, all two of you, my mom and one other person, that my value system has not changed. It has not shifted. My morals have not changed. It has not shifted. I just am in survival mode and I'm doing what I need to do to survive. And that unfortunately means doing things you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. And I'm thinking long term and I want to help people on a very big scale. And I can't do that if I can't afford to live. So anyway, that's the vlog. I have nothing in me. I have no more capacity. I felt inspired at the beginning of this. And now I feel because it's setting in, the realization is setting in that things need to change, and I'm not ready for change, but I am forced to change because of financial fun things. So that's it. That's the vlog. I don't really know what else there is to say. My mom's probably going to call me after she watches this and she's going to be like, you know, it's really repetitive. And I'm going to be like, I know. We're doing the best we can. So that's it. YouTube done. Heck yeah, brother. You want a forehead kiss? Make you feel better? Come here. One sec. I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. I love you.